Hey beauties, I hope you guys are doing awesome today. So I know this video was a little bit late. Unfortunately, we've been a little bit sick here in the house, but we're all feeling a little bit better and on the mend. So I wanted to talk about part two of healing your inner child and doing some healing with your ancestral line. I spoke a little bit about it earlier in a previous video. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I would suggest going back to it if you missed it. So as I had mentioned, both myself and my mother had basically lived in a situation where we had dealt with some physical and sexual abuse. It's been something that we've been dealing with for quite a few years. We had this amazing chat, and we decided that we were going to try to connect with her mom, my grandmother, and we were going to do some cord cutting, and we were going to explore getting out some inner feelings so that mom could understand how she was healing her ancestral line. Sorry guys, I stopped the video there for a few minutes because if you go back, there's orbs that are flying around like crazy. So my guardian angels must be here, but it's amazing. So you should definitely go back and take a look. Might be Archangel Raphael. There's some green little halos going on there. But as I was saying with myself and mom, so I was raped at the age of 14 by my stepfather. And when it had happened, the next day I had told my mother. And my mother believed me. Oh my God, there's still orbs going around. I love this. I'm going to do videos all the time. But now I lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. So anyway, I was raped when I was 14 by my stepfather, and I had told my mother, and my mother right away was a big support for me. She had kicked him out, she had taken me to the hospital, we had talked about it, she put me in therapy, everything that she could possibly do. And she didn't realize for all these years that she had healed her ancestral line because mom had her own childhood abuse that she was dealing with. And when she was younger, and it was possibly because of the time, when my mother had brought that up to her mother, because she had been assaulted around the age of 4 or 5, and then once again in grade 3. And when she had mentioned it to her mother had said, "We don't talk about that." And mom didn't realize how much that stuck with her. And she's had a lot of feelings that were bottled up. And the really, really cool thing was when I went over and we did this session, I let mom just kind of go, and we invoked in my grandmother, and she spoke to her and she told her about every single incident that had really affected her from childhood. And she let loose, and then at the end of it, after she had kind of had this amazing release, she thanked my grandmother for everything and talked about how good their relationship then had got and all these amazing things and how she felt when my grandmother had passed. Sorry if I keep looking away, my pussycat is right here. But mom didn't realize what this emotional effect was going to come about from it. She's been listening to these subliminal messages lately to kind of help heal her inner child. She is getting to the point that she is taking people that she's had these really terrible relationships with, and she's able to have these amazing talks with their higher selves. Because one thing you have to realize too, and I'm sure a lot of you know, but a lot of times people might be, say, survivors of sexual abuse or any type of abuse or trauma. And they might have all these feelings that are built up that are causing them to have all these blockages and physical symptoms. But the thing is that they feel that they can't go ahead and get any release because maybe that person, say, has passed or they've moved and they feel like there's no way that they can do it. But I mean, you can always do things like write a letter, journal. You can just speak your feelings out loud. If somebody has passed, a great thing that you can do is call in their higher selves, along with Archangel Michael to keep you protected and call in your higher self. So after people pass and they're on the other side and they've had their life review and they've done any healing that they need to do from this lifetime, they're fully aware of what's happened in their life, what pain they might have caused, They can see basically how you're reacting. They can see times that they've hurt you, times that they've loved you. They have empathy, and they're at the best version of themselves. So speaking to them sometimes when somebody has passed is a great release, because you feel that you can actually really truly get that closure, and you can actually speak to that person. And the beautiful thing is, after Mom had spoke her piece and had asked for a sign, she saw my grandmother in her third eye, and her grandmother, or sorry, my grandmother, her mother, she saw her smiling at her, and she then faded away. And Mom even just today had this little message that her guardian angel was her mom. So her mom is one of her spirit guides. So it's a really beautiful thing, and it changes people. It transforms them overnight. Mom has released so much, and she doesn't even realize the amazing positive impact it's had on her physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So it is something that I would suggest you do, because you can do it at home. You can always call in Archangel Michael to cut cords. You can even get him to do it daily. I cut cords with everybody. I cut cords with my mother. I cut cords with my fiance. I cut cords with my children. I cut cords with people that I'm around outside. But it's only ever the negative cords of attachment that you're cutting. You're never cutting or severing any bond. It's just that, say if you've had a stressful day with your child, and maybe your child is resenting you at this point in time, maybe you're a little bit angry. When you're cutting the cords, you're just cutting that negative emotion, and you're healing that. And I would suggest you do it anytime that you're feeling like that. And if you are somebody that has suffered or had trauma and the person has passed, try invoking their higher self. Always make sure you're protected. Bring in Archangel Michael, bring in your higher self and your guides and angels. But you can speak to them, and you're speaking to the most empathetic version of themselves, and it's a great release. Or if that person's still here and you don't want to speak to that person, write a letter, burn it on fire if you want to do a little bit of a ceremonial thing with it. Put it in a balloon, release it, any type of way that you want to do, but that you get a chance to get it out, because it's so stagnant and it's so deep down sometimes in our subconscious that we think that we're already healed from it, but it's just buried so deep, and you need to get those emotions up, and you need to get them out, just like as if you were detoxing your body. And I promise it's going to make you feel amazing. And if you want any guidance, if you want any help, if you want to book a session in regards to helping heal your inner child, I would be more than willing to help you. And do fun stuff for your inner child. Color, get your singing on, get your dance on. I'm always in the car bopping around and dancing around here and looking absolutely insane. I try to do it mostly when I'm alone, but hey. But I just wanted to finish off this part, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the orbs, because I'm like super stoked. I think I'm just gonna like videotape myself for the next 3 hours and see what I get. All right, I love you guys all so much. Okay,